Your top stories this evening sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. ERC to engage Jennifer Ali over vile, hateful Facebook posts. Indigenous community feels their constitutional rights are being trampled upon, particularly during this election cycle. Limitless Lenders owner breaks her silence, says she will repay in due time. And AFC renews its call to release the census data ahead of the September polls. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Monday, June 16 edition of the HGP Nightly News. Here's what you need to know this evening. Vile, hateful, and racist social media posts by a Monrepo woman has sprung the Ethnic Relations Commission into action. Here's more. A woman who is no stranger to local police is expected to be summoned by the Ethnic Relations Commission in relation to vile, racist Facebook comments directed against the family of Adriana Young. The comments made by Jennifer Ali are so horrifyingly wicked that they aren't worth repeating on national television. The family of Adriana Young told Nightly News that they are deeply hurt over the racist sentiments by Ali, maintaining that while the circumstances surrounding the death of 11-year-old Adriana Young are already troubling, Ali, through her social media platform, has caused irreparable harm to an already grieving family. Meanwhile, the Ethnic Relations Commission says it strongly condemns the reprehensible and deeply offensive comments made by Jennifer Ali on Facebook. The Commission says it is appalled that during a time of mourning, such vile and hateful expressions were publicly shared, further inflicting pain on a family already burdened by tragic loss. Quote, "These actions violate the basic standards of decency and mutual respect that are essential to maintaining harmony in our multi-ethnic society. The ERC has officially opened a formal case into this matter and intends to engage Ms. Jennifer Ali. According to the Ethnic Relations Commission, Ali is requested to report to the Commission to address the content and intent of her remarks. The Commission reminds the public that freedom of expression, while protected, must be exercised responsibly. The use of social media to spread hate, incite division, or cause psychological harm, especially in the context of bereavement, is unacceptable and contrary to the values enshrined in the Constitution of Guyana. The ERC says it will continue to monitor this matter and will act in accordance with its constitutional mandate to promote harmony, prevent ethnic or racial hostility, and encourage respectful public discourse. In 2023, the Special Organized Crime Unit issued wanted bulletins for Jennifer Maria Ali Niram Narain and her husband Rayaz Ali for money laundering and other financial crimes. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. The Indigenous community is pushing back against intimidation and any form of victimization, especially during an election year. Here is more.
Residents across the hinterland are becoming more vocal and is ensuring their constitutional and other rights are not trampled upon. The Indigenous community is complaining about them being discouraged from engaging politicians during this very important election cycle. Michael Williams, an Indigenous radio announcer and activist from Region 9, deemed this as a threat to the liberty of the nation's First Peoples.
How could we exercise our constitutional right perfectly when we are not allowed to exercise our constitutional right to listen to every single party contesting parties? Every single contesting party enter the village should be accommodated without fear or favor, without any victimization.
One Region 1 resident also complained that a directive was handed down to her village of Kamwata, but villagers did not heed to that order.
After you came and you said that this is the worst road, they begin to do that road. And I feel in my heart they did not do it with love for the people. They're doing it with hatred now that somebody brought it up. That is what they're doing now.
One Region 1 resident also complained that a directive was handed down to her village of Kamwata, but villagers did not heed to that order.
He did not come here to hear our concern. He was rather rude, and nobody else asked any question, and he left and the meeting finished.
The very vocal resident called on her community members to let their voices be heard and reject intimidation.
I look at his attitude. We don't need leaders who are abusive, who cannot listen to concern.
Has long been highlighting cases where Guyanese are being encouraged not to entertain political leaders from either side of the political divide, and has encouraged political parties to desist from doing such. According to the Guyana Constitution, Guyanese should be allowed to exercise their constitutional right willingly and freely. I'm Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
GECOM's chairperson, retired Justice Claudette Singh's decision to permit the state's lawyer, who is also a candidate for the People's Progressive Party Civic in the 2025 elections, to serve as a legal advisor, despite being aware that this would create a conflict of interest, has angered PNCR Central Executive Member Ganesh Mahipal. You'll have more details in this report.
Anil Nandalal will be biased in his opinions, and he will definitely provide guidance that suits his interest and his party's interest. It's callous. It is out of order for Claudette Singh to endorse receiving opinions, legal opinions, from a player that is in the ring and is subject to be biased.
That was PNCR Central Executive Member Ganesh Mahipal during a recent press briefing addressing the issue of State Attorney Anil Nandalal serving as legal advisor for the Ghana Elections Commission. On June 3rd, Attorney General Anil Nandalal clarified that he does not serve as GECOM's official legal counsel. In his defense, Nandalal, who is also the Minister of Legal Affairs, said like other independent constitutional bodies, he has only provided legal opinions upon requests. However, Mahipal said that retired Justice of Appeal Claudette Singh, as a legal luminary, should be guided and not allow such a thing to happen.
And she served at the highest office in terms of providing justice to people.
The opposition member of parliament said that the PNCR does not favor such a decision.
This move to have Anil Nandalal as their legal advisor or to provide legal opinions is not an act that takes the entire Guyana into consideration. It is not acting in the best interest of the Guyanese people, and it is one that must be condemned strongly.
During his weekly televised program Issues in the News, Nandalal said GECOM will proceed without the consent of opposition-nominated commissioners.
You cannot hold the Elections Commission at ransom.
The opposition commissioners staged a walkout from a June 3rd meeting, and following the walkout, Desmond Trotman related to the media operatives that the three opposition commissioners were in a disagreement over key electoral issues agreed to, being removed from the meeting's agenda. Meanwhile, under the heading Powers and Procedure of Commissions, Article 226(1) of the Constitution noted that a commission shall not be subjected to the direction or control of any other person or authority. This means that the Attorney General, who is the state's advisor, should have no say in the business of GECOM, as this agency is not state-led but independent. I am Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
This is the HGP Nightly News. Stay with us. There is more news ahead. Welcome back to the HGP Nightly News. On the police blotter, a Sturtville, West Coast Demerara woman who is facing more than 90 fraud-related charges told Nightly News on Monday that it was the police who forced her clients to file complaints against her. She also claims she will repay the more than $100 million owed and is begging for time. Adacia Coleman, who was recently charged and remanded to prison over 2 charges of obtaining by false pretense in relation to car sales, says her intention was never to scam anyone and is promising to repay her clients in due time.
I am working on it. I know a lot of persons have been patient. Some are getting extremely out of patience. And my goal is to return your monies.
It is the police case that several persons reported that they would have paid down cash for vehicles, given a receipt, and would be given a 3-month period for the vehicle to be delivered to them. The delivery of the vehicles never materialized. Coleman explained the reason for this. None of the vehicles that you had ordered.
Yes.
You can't get them?
I can't get them because I would have to finalize payments for them.
So where are those vehicles now, really?
I guess sold. Most of them sold. Or maybe
how does that work? Have you made down payments for the vehicle?
Yes, I've made down payments.
So how have you lost a down payment for a vehicle?
That's the agreement.
Police also claimed that the woman issued bounced checks to her clients. Coleman was also asked to explain this.
The reason I issued post-dated checks is so that we would have enough time to generate the funds to give back refunds. We try to spread it out. Now, what some persons did is try to cash those post-dated checks. I had a total of 16 persons try to cash those post-dated checks. About 16 persons.
21.
21?
Mm-hmm. Nightly News understands that local investigators have at least 95 other cases they are probing.
Calling my clients to create fear and telling my clients to come to the station, because my clients did not went to the station of their own. They were called to the station to make a report against me. So this is how it all blew up. Everybody was waiting. I was talking to my clients. And then they started to call clients and tell them, hey, you've been scammed. You need to make a report. Then this thing blew up on social media.
The businesswoman says she has repaid 2 of her clients and those matters have been dismissed by the court. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. As Guyana strengthens ties with China amid the ongoing border controversy with Venezuela, Shadow Foreign Affairs Minister Amanda Walton-Desir has expressed concern over what she sees as the government's inadequate domestic response to the territorial threat. Speaking on the showdown, she acknowledged the importance of international partnerships but emphasized that national efforts must not fall short. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
Earlier this month, during a Chinese-hosted reception celebrating 53 years of diplomatic relations with Guyana, President Irfan Ali called on China to assist in safeguarding Guyana's territorial integrity and regional peace from threats posed by Venezuela. In an interview on the showdown, Shadow Foreign Affairs Minister Amanda Walton-Desir said, while it is necessary for the head of state to seek such support, she criticized the government's failure to adequately address the issue domestically. She stated that the administration is quote-unquote dropping the ball on several internal fronts.
The map of Guyana continues to be bastardized. And in CARICOM, by organizations resident in CARICOM. And there is a lukewarm approach and response from the administration. We saw Caribbean Beat, the Caribbean Airlines in-flight magazine, publishing our map rather, without Tigray. We saw the same with Cricket World Cup, Cricket West Indies.
The opposition member of parliament added that there appears to be no aggressive diplomatic push to confront the continued distortion of Guyana's map, calling it a serious concern.
And so whilst Irfan Ali continues to seek assistance from, as he likes to put it, the international partners, he is not doing everything that he can and he must at home to ensure that at a domestic level, we are able and capable of defending and supporting our territorial integrity and our sovereignty.
She argued that the government's domestic conduct is weakening the national unity needed to effectively confront Venezuela's claims.
He's all over the place. And for the last few years, I've been saying that is because There is no national interest guiding their interactions. It's exceedingly transactional.
Walton Desir maintained that while Guyana must continue building international alliances to support its ICJ case, such efforts should not come at the expense of sovereignty or domestic preparedness.
I also believe that we have to, at home, do some serious work to shore up local support.
Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Stay with us, there is more news ahead. Welcome back to the HGP Nightly News. We tell you now that with national elections just months away, concerns over the credibility of the voters list and the presence of Venezuelan migrants are once again in the spotlight.
With Guyanese set to head to the polls in September 1 for general and regional elections, Chairman of the Alliance for Change AFC, David Patterson, has renewed calls for the completion of the National Population and Housing Census. He stated that the electoral list is severely bloated and the party's repeated calls for electoral reform has all been rejected by the Ghana Elections Commission, GECOM.
Census is due. It has been promised. It is overdue, and it is unfair to a country to go to national elections with these concerns without the data backing the concerns that we have, which will be found in the census.
Last month, during the 104th sit-in of the National Assembly, Minister of Home Affairs Rupson Ben disclosed that 15,157 Venezuelans were registered in Guyana between 2018 and 2024. Of that number, only 23 reside in Region 4, the country's most populated region. The disclosure came in response to questions posed by opposition Member of Parliament and Shadow Minister of Public Service Tabita Sarabuhali regarding the number of Venezuelan nationals registered in Guyana as of November 2024.
Number of Venezuelans registered for the period October 1 to 30th of November 2024, amongst the 15,157.
Minister Ben also provided the regional breakdown of the registrations. 7,507, Region 4, 23, Region 7, 1,101, and Region 8, 65. Patterson expressed further concern that in an election year, the absence of the national census results combined with a large number of Venezuelan nationals could impact the integrity of the official list of electors. It is against this backdrop that the AFC is urging GECOM to implement mechanisms that would guarantee transparency and accountability at upcoming polls. Tiana reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
As tensions in the Middle East continue to rise, Guyana used its voice at the United Nations Security Council to call for restraint and diplomacy. Permanent representative to the UN, Caroline Rodriguez-Burkett, expressed the country's deep concern over the recent escalation between Israel and Iran, urging both nations to uphold international law and avoid actions that could lead to wider conflict.
Permanent representative of Guyana to the United Nations, Caroline Rodriguez-Burkett, speaking at the United Nations Security Council meeting on Monday, said Guyana is deeply concerned about the recent attack carried out by Israel on facilities in Iran, which resulted in the loss of lives, including civilians.
It has also reportedly resulted in retaliatory drone strikes by Iran against Israel. Israel's latest attack on Iran contravenes the principles enshrined in the United Nations Charter.
She added that, especially during such a volatile period in the region, the attack risks worsening tensions in the Middle East and could escalate the already dangerous crisis.
Guyana is concerned about the recent military escalation in the region and calls for maximum restraint from member states. In a region that is becoming increasingly combustible with each passing day.
Rodriguez-Burkett stressed that Guyana is appealing for dialogue, diplomacy, and good sense to prevail, urging all parties to avoid further military escalation.
Colleagues, Guyana reiterates its appeal to both Israel and Iran to exercise maximum restraint and to avoid any further maneuvers that could plunge the entire Middle East into further turmoil, or worse, result in a nuclear catastrophe.
She said Guyana is urging both countries to fully comply with international law and the relevant resolutions adopted by the Security Council.
We further call on the two parties to uphold the principles of respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity, to adhere fully to international law and the United Nations Charter, and to settle their differences peacefully.
Rodrigues-Burke had concluded that the Council must take a unified approach to these developments and confront the real danger of an all-out war in the region, which could have devastating consequences both regionally and globally. The current round of conflict began on June 13, 2025, when Israel launched a major preemptive air campaign named Operation Rising Lion, involving over 200 warplanes targeting more than 100 sites across Iran, including nuclear facilities and military installations. In response, Iran fired hundreds of ballistic missiles and drones at Israeli cities. Since then, the situation has escalated into a dangerous 4-day standoff, featuring multiple strikes that have inflicted significant military and civilian casualties on both sides. Tiana Ko reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Your regional news is up next.
Good evening and welcome to Monday's edition of the Regional News. The Eastern Caribbean has launched a project to boost pandemic preparedness and response in the sub-region, bringing renewed focus to building resilient, integrated health systems that can better detect and respond to future health threats. The Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, said the project titled, quote-unquote, Strengthening Prevention, Preparedness and Response to Emerging Health Threats in the Eastern Caribbean is funded by the Pandemic Fund and will benefit Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is being implemented through a partnership between PAHO, World Health Organization, the Food and Agriculture Organization, and the World Bank. PAHO said that by taking a One Health approach, which recognizes the interconnectedness of human, animal, and environmental health, the project focuses on preventing outbreaks before they begin, detecting them early and responding quickly and efficiently when they do occur. It said key areas of focus include conducting cross-sectoral assessments to identify gaps and set priorities, strengthening multi-sectoral surveillance and early response systems, improving laboratory diagnostic capacity for timely detection. The Labour Party GLP has announced a $3 million reward as police continue the investigations in search for GLP's worker Lorna Robertson, who was abducted on May 30. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has described the abduction of the JLP election scrutineer as quote-unquote very troubling, adding quote-unquote, we have been taking note of it. We hear certain squeals happening, and I'm very hopeful that the police will eventually find a lead because such a crime should not go unsolved. Quote unquote. We have decided that we'll put up a reward for information of $3 million for information leading to the arrest of those persons who abducted our worker. We do not intend to stop until we find out who are the people behind it, whoever they are connected to. Closed-circuit television footage show Robertson, popularly known as Nikki, being pulled by a man into a vehicle. The vehicle was recovered a week ago. Bloodstains were reportedly found inside and DNA samples were collected. Robertson's family has offered $500,000 reward for her safe return. A member of the main opposition People's National Party, PNP, Julian Robertson, has since rejected social media claims linking the abduction to politics. Police say they questioned several people in connection with the case. Jamaica will host the regional forum, bringing together experts, policymakers, and stakeholders to address the urgent issue of motorcycle helmet safety. The organizers said that the event, which gets underway on June 19, will feature panel discussions as well as providing a platform for dialogue, interdisciplinary collaboration, and policy-oriented solutions. Organized by the JN Foundation through the National Helmet Wearer Coalition in collaboration with the FIA Foundation and the FIA Motor Clubs in the Caribbean and the National Road Safety Council. The forum aims to address critical legislative and enforcement gaps, promote behavior change, and mitigate the social and economic impact of motorcycle-related fatalities across the region. In Jamaica, motorcycles accounted for about 30% of road fatalities in 2024. That statistics are common to countries in Latin America and the Caribbean, where there is similar experience in managing issues related to helmet wearing, certification, and standardization. We believe that dialogue will be helpful to arriving at a position of collaboration to address these issues, she said. The two-day event will also explore legislative and regulatory gaps on how weak and absent laws contribute to a culture that undervalues helmet wearing, challenges in enforcement and policy, and nurturing behavior change through advocacy and storytelling. Other topics include social and economic impact, highlighting the cost of preventable motorcycle crashes to families, health systems, and national development. Thank you for watching. I am Tiana Cole.
ERC to engage Jennifer Ali over vile, hateful Facebook posts. A formal case has been opened by the Commission. Indigenous community feels their constitutional rights are being trampled on, particularly during this election cycle. Limitless Lender owner breaks her silence, says she will repay in due time, and the EFC renews its call to release the census data ahead of the September polls. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.